What's going on, everybody? Coming at you with another workout commentary. Today we are doing arms, and today we are doing both bis and tris. Sometimes on arm day I'm only doing biceps and sometimes I'm only doing triceps, but today we're doing both. So typically what I do every week is I do one arm day that's both bis and tris, and then I do an individual bicep day with another main movement, and then an individual tricep day with another main movement, or I'll just do the individual bicep day and individual tricep day. But the way that I perform my exercises, which is why I'm doing a commentary, is much different than most. I am very slow and controlled, and I like to go full range of motion on almost every single exercise. Sometimes I have injury limitations that doesn't allow me to do so, but as you can see here, I go all the way to the top to keep the muscle as shortened as possible at the top, and then all the way to the bottom to lengthen the muscle as much as possible. And I like to hold everything for like a half a second, and that's just to really have a full mind to muscle connection and be able to really feel it in the muscle. I don't ever just fling the weight around. I mean, you have to leave your ego out of the gym. Slow it down, lower the weight. It's not all about the weight. Like, yes, you want to be increasing your weights, but that will happen in time as you get the form down. What I like to do on this exercise, which a lot of people I don't feel like people do with a pull down bar, is it allows me to have a lot of different grips. So here you can see me doing a wide grip, and then I immediately go into a close grip. This just allows you to target different parts of the tricep. You have to realize that you have 3 different heads in the tricep, and in order to hit all 3 of them, it does help to switch up your grips. So in doing these 2 grips, you're hitting all 3, and it just really gives you a full on, you're targeting the entire muscle. Muscle being the tricep. And this is what I try to do with all of my exercises. If I try to hit them with multiple different angles and multiple different styles, so not just one variation. I guess that's the better wording, variation, not style. But so I personally like to go nice and slow, as you can see, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, pausing for like a half a second on both motions, on both ends of the motion. And this is what you'll see me do in every single exercise that I do. I truly believe that if the form is right, you can lower the weight and really focus a lot more on just applying the tension. And most people, they are completely backwards with their philosophy of just increased weight, cheat curls, cheat reps, and they're gonna try to force the movement. And in my opinion, yeah, that's okay on the last like 2 reps maybe, but if you're not getting the first 8 to like 80% of your exercise with proper form, then you're very much so missing out on a lot of the benefits of the exercise. So with curls, I personally like to use dumbbell curls 2 at the same exact time, and then sometimes I'll do alternating, but I usually always start with 2 at a time. So with me, I usually would recommend people do a barbell curl, but again, I have injury limitations that cause me to not be able to do every exercise that I would recommend for other people, because I personally like to start off with a heavy compound movement on almost every type of lift I do, or every body part that I'm working out. But I have a really bad wrist. I broke my wrist quite a few years ago, and it's just kind of been a little screwed up ever since. So I can't use like a straight bar. I know that may sound very weird, but if I do barbell curls, it has to be with an easy bar, just because it is it forms my wrist very well, so it's more comfortable. But I get the job done with the dumbbells. You know, I try to reenact what a barbell curl would almost be like, and I go very slow and controlled. Something I also really like to implement, which you can see here, is hammer curls. A lot of people I feel ignore hammer curls, and they focus more on just the regular traditional curl, and that's okay. But the benefit of doing a hammer curl is because it's really going to attack the brachialis, which is the side of the arm. And what I have found out over the years, because I naturally have very small arms, training my brachialis has been targeting brachialis has been probably the biggest factor to my arm growth, because it is pushing out the thickness of the arm, which will in turn increase your peak in total arm size. So definitely do not neglect training the brachialis, even though it is a harder muscle to target, because it is it's within the muscle. It's just not Google it. Then you can kind of see what I'm talking about if you look at an image of it. But yeah, so I personally like hammer curls a lot more than a traditional curl, but they are both 100% necessary. You need to do them both. You need to target the long head and the short head. So yeah, I'm going to be finishing up these curls and then going on to next exercise, which is back to triceps, like I told you all. So I like to personally, on arm days where I'm doing both triceps and biceps, I like to do 2 bicep exercises, then 2 tricep exercises, then back to 2 bicep exercises, then back to 2 tricep exercises. Typically, the reason I like to do that is because I feel like if I try to go into a third exercise of the same muscle group, I'm very, very fatigued and I'm not really getting the mind to muscle connection that I would like, and the pump is just not there. But if I do 2 exercises and then I alternate and do 2 different exercises and then come back and do 2 exercises of triceps, the pump is just unreal when I come back. And that's probably because the blood gets pushed into the muscle, and then when I'm doing biceps, it goes out of my triceps into my biceps, and then I go back to my triceps to push the blood back into the muscle. As you can see here, I like to do my skull crushers on an incline bench, which is much different than you'll probably see other people do them. The reason I do this is because I can get a much deeper stretch behind my neck rather than on a flat. I feel like it pulls my lower back off of the bench, and it kind of hurts me. You know, I feel like I have a bad lower back, and so I try to keep everything nice and flat and controlled. And typically what I'll do on like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th set, depending on how many sets I'm doing, I'll finish with actual what you would think to be a skull crusher where I go to my head. And it is much easier to do this than it is the very first variation you just see me do where I go behind my neck. But this is why I finish with this, because this is still an incredible pump. I feel great. I'm getting a very good mind to muscle connection, and it's actually very difficult being like 4th or 5th set. So that's why I'm doing it at the very end. But I would suggest trying this variation that I'm doing where you go behind the neck, hold it for a second, and then go to the top, and then flex at the top. But you don't have to lock out your elbows either. You do want to keep attention on your triceps at all times. And that's just for any exercise that you're doing, keeping tension throughout the entire movement. But yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully if you haven't tried that and you do try it, you enjoy it. And if you do, please let me know in the comments. This is something I personally really like to do. It's just, I call it like a cross chest dumbbell tricep push, I guess. I don't really know what you would call it, but it just allows me to really get a good stretch going across my chest and then just locking out at the top. But really just as soon as I'm at the top, I try to go right back down, because the top of the motion isn't really the difficult part. The difficult part is going from basically your chest to the midpoint, and then it's just a very good stretch, and it's just a different type of movement that you're not going to be able to, that most people aren't emulating like in any other exercise. So I personally really like these. Something else I've done is I've done them with the cables, and it works very, very well. But a lot of people do like cross chest cable, so it's always taken. So I like to emulate these with the dumbbell, and it feels very well. It feels very good. So if you haven't given this a shot either, I would highly recommend it. You don't have to use a lot of weight. And as you can see on almost all the exercises I do, I don't use a ton of weight. I'm not going very light, but I don't like to go very heavy, because I feel like when you get caught up in that, I need to go heavier, you're probably going to slack on form regardless of how advanced you are. You have to like leave that ego at the door and drop the weight, go light till you get it right. And that's just my motto for everything, is keep the weight light, but not too light, and just have it at a point where you can control the weight nice and slowed. My general rule of thumb is if you can't stop and hold the weight at any point in the movement, it's too heavy in terms of proper form and being able to do the exercise. So finishing up the workout, what I like to do here is spider curls. Well, this is what I did on this exercise. This isn't what I always do, but I finished up with spider curls because I was feeling extremely toast. Like I was donezo, and I was like, man, I don't want to do regular curls, but let's try something different. And I haven't done these in a long time, and man, my biceps are still hurting, and it's been like 4 days or 3 days since I recorded this, and I'm just now getting around to the commentary. So with that being said, I really hope you all like this. I'm gonna start to try to put out one video every single week with commentary or workout footage of some sort. It might not always be commentary, but if you all enjoy the commentary, please let me know. I'm going to continue to do them, and I'm also going to be coming out with 2 other videos every single week, so 3 videos total every single week. I'm going to be posting either Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. You all let me know what works better for you, and also what times you think would be the best to post that work for you. I'm Eastern time, just if anybody didn't know. And yeah, hopefully you all really enjoyed this video and are enjoying the frequent uploads. Please like the video, comment, subscribe. I love you all. See you in the next video.